My name is Troy Charter. I'm the Director of Transit Operations with OC Transpo. Yeah, one of the things that we're excited to talk about is the simulators. With the Confederation line, one of the things that we identified was a need for a simulator to help train our operators, both for the startup as well as for the refresher cyclical training. We use that opportunity at the same time to purchase a simulator for the Trillium Line. We have that now in place, as I said, and we use that for training for new operators that we hire to take over, as well as for our cyclical refresher training that happens several times throughout the year. It is a very, very effective tool that gives a real-life example, real-life representation of what operators would experience on the line, and it allows us the opportunity to recreate certain situations that they may experience, whether it be a trespasser on the line or how they would respond to various incidents. It gives us an opportunity to provide some real-life training, but at the same time, we're not impacting our customers or impacting service on the main line. So it's a very, very effective tool. It's very, very realistic, and it's been very well received by our staff.
Okay, so welcome aboard. This is the Alstom LINT Coradia train. Welcome to the cab. Shane, before we get the vehicle fired up, I'm going to give you a quick orientation of just some of the basic controls that you'll be using. Okay. So visuals, first of all, you have your radio panel over here. This monitor is going to show you everything related to train statistics and data. You'll be monitoring your speed over here. These are your air pressure gauges for brake application and brake pressure in the main and reservoir backup cylinder. A series of buttons related to door controls, park and brake release, and over on the other side you have your destination sign controls, park and brake controls, wipers, that kind of thing. Here on the panel, the actual switches that you're going to be manipulating, I'll just give you a quick orientation. Door selector here, turn it clockwise for right-hand side doors, counterclockwise for left. That's basically most of what we'll be doing on this side over here. On your right side, your right hand is going to be busy. You will be operating the bell control here, and this switch either goes up or down to activate the bell. Most importantly, your traction brake control. That is where you will be applying traction and brakes. So actually, I'd like you to give it a quick shot before we actually fire up the vehicle. So there you go. The further you push, the faster it will go. And I'd like you to just feel that neutral position, bring it right there. So that's your coasting position, and anything farther back from there, that's your braking position. Okay. All the way back to an emergency brake, and we're going to try and avoid the EB application, which is the last notch or detent. You got it. So that's your dump of your air right there. Yes, quite right, exactly.
And then once you press this in, does that do anything too? Or
pushing in the button is the what we call the Vigilant System, and actually you have the option. You can push that button down, or you can keep your foot on the pedal and give that a push every few seconds or so. Most people like to keep their foot down on it while you're driving, and just give it a quick pop every once in a while. Yeah, release, okay. Exactly. Next lever over, Shane, is going to be your, think of it as your park and brake release, just like in your car. When we actually drive, it will be in the release position, exactly. For now, we'll bring it back to neutral. There we go. First thing we have to do is actually power up the train. Okay. So using the touch screen, this is actually a little key switch here. The operating position first. Okay, very good. And now we'll hit the start button. There she goes. Good. So now you can select the forward position over here. Next will be...
So that's the sound when you hear the operator switch from one cab to the other, and you hear that, that means that he's selecting, probably.
I believe that's related to a series of other bells and whistles that are possibly not necessarily related to that button, but it is possible. The spring brake release, so from the zero you put it to the release position. Just push it forward. Yep. Exactly, so we build pressure in the main reservoir. That's good. Yeah. Very good.
So then the yellow line and the red line, what do those mean?
That is the air pressure in the main reservoir and the brake pipe. So it's related to your brake application. Just like on the bus, we have a supply tank and the main main tank, basically, to supply air to, you'll notice if you push this into the braking position, you start to apply. This is your application gauge here, where the air is being put to, motor bogie or trailer bogie. This is how much air you have to use, this is how much air you're actually using over here. And that's why you pull that lever all the way back to emergency brake. It dumps the air out of the other one. We won't actually do it right now, but it will evacuate air and lock your brakes on there. And speaking of brakes, next thing we'll do is release the parking brake. It's the button on the right-hand side panel.
Here?
It's the green one.
Just, yeah.
You push and hold it, please. Very good. So now we've confirmed traction is available here. So your train configuration is showing we are basically good to go. Doors are closed. Both buttons on the right-hand side over there are green. So let's just go back to, if you push number 5 here, you'll be able to monitor your speed on the dash over here. And you'll also be able to monitor your traction braking control. You'll see it in a percentage value right over here. If you like, Shane, we can service this platform by using the door control. You'll monitor the platform, there you go, on your right-hand side through the mirror.
Also, this is sort of like the enabler for the door.
Enabler, right? When you see the green light come on, that's basically what's happening over here. So customers are boarding.
And are you able to activate all the doors from here, or it's only activated, the only possibilities from the door itself by the passengers?
This is using the switch is the self-serve button, so people are using the green buttons to open and close. So we have everybody on board. Go ahead and put it back to the neutral position. So for train operation, Shane, like I said, your foot is going to be on that pedal there, and that is your Vigilant System letting the train know that you're here paying attention. So you can leave it in the down position and pop it up every few seconds or so, and you'll see once we're moving that this light here will illuminate, showing when you release and when you push it back down.
And how often do you have to do it?
About every 10 seconds or so will be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so traction and brake control, if you're ready to pull out, we'll sound the bell. Push the bell control is this one right over here. And you can ease on the traction nice and slow. And we're off. Perfect.
And obviously, unlike the Confederation line, I have to observe the proper speed limits.
Correct, yes. And here we're permitted for track speed.
So I can accelerate to what speed limit? I can just...
For now we'll be passing this signal here, so we should be, yep, that's your pedal, push the pedal. There you go, so that's the Vigilant System kicking in. Shane, so if your foot is off the pedal, it's the train is wondering if you're here. So if you keep it in the down position and then pop it up every 10 seconds or so, that's the light that you're seeing here.
Okay.
Good. So we'll just apply brakes. Very good. And back to neutral. Good. And we should be good to proceed. Carry on.
And then 65, 25, that would be the speed?
Correct.
So I guess that's a minimum and a maximum?
Correct.
Okay. So then whenever you see that sign indices, do you have to... Okay, so again the brake, or the vigilance?
There you're coming over the Induzi, and we were above the permitted speed for this section of track at this crossover here. So that's okay, so yeah, one more foot, push on the foot there. Good, and back to neutral. And you can push this in the down position over here to clear. Yeah, okay, there we go. So here we're approaching a red signal, so we are required to stop as we come here. It's good. The signaling system here is a little bit different than Confederation line. The way signaling and everything works, and the speed control and the whole magnetic induzi system is what's sort of controlling you here. And somebody with more expertise would be able to provide you insight and education on how signaling and induzis work. But that's sort of a basic overview of the traction brake controls and some of the basic operations to get the train moving and start it up and all those types of things. But basically that's what you're seeing here is how the, contrary to the Confederation line, which operates the computer-based train control, here we're under the influence of certain speed control systems. They call it an induzi type system. And basically it's a magnetic type system, magnetic field that is applying the brakes for you in certain circumstances. It all is related to the signaling system that you're seeing here.
Okay. So right now we have red signals.
Correct. And so that means we should probably stop or go.
Stop.
I would say safe bet. Perfect. Good.
So when you see a red light, how far back should you stop? Is there a marker on the side that would indicate how far you would stop, or?
Well, yeah, on Confederation Line we have fouling point indicators, and I believe for regular signals it is the sign itself that indicates the fouling point. So
as soon as you can see it.
That's right, and you can see actually that the induzi, that little magnet sign, is corresponding to that device right beside the track bed there.
Oh, the yellow
so if we
one.
were to drive by that signal, that's what would...
Stop it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So then at this point it's red, we would just wait until it goes green?
It's red for a reason. Whatever that reason may be was possibly related to the train that was on this siding over here. But yeah, this would be the indication for carrying on, seeing if you can go on a little bit further, do a further assessment, and see if it will change. So let's stop before the signal.
Yep.
And there you go.
So now we can proceed.
Correct.
Okay.
And our speed, sorry, too late. Speed in there was not to exceed 40 kilometers per hour, if I'm not mistaken. To be under the influence there means we have to cross this next switch at or below 40 kilometers per hour.
There's really a lot of things to...
There are, definitely. So if you bring it back to neutral, just give the handle a push there. Yeah, and there you should be good to go.
There's definitely a lot more things to be aware of.
Absolutely. And so here, once we're clear of we're no longer under the influence of that induzi, we're clear for track speed, which I believe is back to 55 kilometers per hour.
And what's the top speed that would trains operate at any segment on this line?
That is an excellent question. 80 kilometers per hour, or approximately.
Okay.
So here we're approaching Carling Station. Good, we'll start to slow her down.
So even the vigilance alarm, if that goes off, I still have time to
Catch
it before it...
No, you get an audible warning, yeah. So here we'll lay on the bell. Good. Start to ease her back in the brakes. You're looking for your stopping location. You'll see it's just before the mirror. There's a station spotting sign that's white. I'm going to try and line it up right over here out your window. It says platform spot. Ease on the brakes, gentle. Yeah. A little further, a little further, a little further. Not quite there yet.
I have a parking brake. Did the parking brake go on?
Bring it back to the neutral position there. Traction. Okay, yeah, now lay it on. There you go. And back, not too much further. Perfect. And this time doors will be
On the left.
left-hand side. You got it. Perfect. Bravo. We made it into Carling, Shane. Good work.
So next will be Carlton.
Correct.
And as far as dwell time in the station, is there a signal that would go off, or you just use your judgment as far as how long it should be?
It's basically you're seeing in the mirror here. And
So as soon as there's no more people?
basically.
Okay.
Very good.
So then we close.
Correct. Lay on the bell a little bit.
So yellow light.
Yes, and in your signaling course, you're going to cover all of those signals and what they mean, and what the 3-aspect and 2-aspect signals and the R plates and all that kind of thing.
So the bell you put on when you're approaching the station, when you leave, once you've passed the platform, then typically you would turn the bell off?
Correct. Yeah. So here we'll keep it just below 55 kilometers per hour.
And I guess the indice system would kick in as well if you go too fast.
Well, yes, it's related to track speeds and signal indications, right? And depending on what area of the track and what type of area you're passing, the induce you would be under the influence, so let's say, of speeds dictated by that area of track. And yes, if you exceed, so for example, when we were showing flashing 70, 85 over here, we were under the effect of an induce, and it required you to be at or below 40 kilometers per hour.
Oh, so this is picking up the track signal as far as the speed limit.
Yeah, it's not what the numbers there don't relate to the speed limit themselves, but it relates to the influence under which you are at the given time.
Okay. So sort of a limiter.
Yeah, think of it that way. It's showing you what limit you happen to be under for a given area of track. So yeah, here this is where the track divides.
Slowly picking that up.
Yeah. Okay, so here we'll slow it down to just below 25 kilometers per hour, please. Down to 25. We'll be under the influence of this induce here, dictating our speed. Very good. So we'll be diverting in. So you show we're under the 500 here, so 25 or below. Lay on the bell, please. Good. And we'll line it up at the platform spot, so you can see we're showing the red signal. If we go past that signal, we'll get blown down, and the reason is that this is where the tracks divide, right? We have to allow that train to come in before we can leave. Yeah, very nice.
Oh, almost.
We should be in the ballpark, I think. There you go. Right there, perfect. Bravo. Into neutral.
So we enable that door.
You got it. So the good people get bored. Now you see we've changed from red to slow permissive. We're going to traverse the signal over here, so at or below 25 as we leave.
Okay. Now, as far as the switches in the track,
Yes,
where those get controlled from, are they automated or is that from the dispatch and the doorbell?
correct. Right on.
Okay, so then we can
Good.
close the door. We put our bell.
Yes, please. Right on. Very good. Keep it below 25, please. Super.
And at that point I can accelerate.
Yeah, we're still. There you go. Now we're clear of the effect of the induce here. So yes, now track speed. Once you're clear.
And again, track speed would be, for this section, 55, 60.
So next station along this line, Shane? You know it.
Mooney's Bay.
Right on.
We're not going to go there now, but does the simulator actually go to the Walkley Yard?
I believe you can drive all the way into Walkley. Yeah, it may be a different simulation than the one we're running right now, but you can actually drive the train off into the yard. Good, so what color signal are we seeing here, Shane?
Red, so now I would have to stop.
Correct. We still got time. We've got time, but yeah, we will eventually come under the influence of another induce system that would prevent any train from. The idea of the system is to prevent trains from passing signals that they cannot pass. And we've seen it now where it's because of trains in the siding or trains traversing. And so basically it's almost like it's a train control system that uses mechanical instead of computer-based train control, right? And it's a magnetic field basically that you come under the influence of. Very good, so we're showing red, 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 red.
So I suppose at this point I should come to a complete stop, or
You're still
approach a bit more?
We are coming up to the station though on the right. The signal is just beyond the station.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Very good. And you can lay on the bell. Very good.
stopped a little short.
That's all right. Very good. Perfect. So Shane, you're monitoring your customers. You've monitored now. You're in the proper platform spot. Before we initiate any movement, I'd like you to tell me what that color signal is, please.
Well, that one's yellow, but then further down it's red.
Okay, perfect. But the signal directly ahead of you?
Yellow.
Correct. Very good.
So yellow would just be more like a, in general terms, a caution.
Correct. Right on.
So
Very
we'll
good.
turn that.
Excellent. So nice and easy out of the station. Keep it below 25 kilometers per hour.
Until we pass the indice, right?
That's right, and you'll see. Yeah, good. As
So
long as
like
we
to-
maintain. Yeah, as long as we don't exceed. Oh, there
Oh.
we go.
We got some rain. Does weather affect stopping and acceleration for these trains, or?
In real life it does, and we have the ability in the simulator to affect the weather pattern, so we can have it rain, and we can also, as a simulated byproduct of that, have the track degraded adhesion, we call it. It's two things. Just by putting the rain in won't affect the track condition in the simulator, but we can add it to it. All right, we'll slow her down, please. Very good. So here we're approaching the siding, and this train will traverse the signal and head into the siding. So there's a speed restriction for that.
So it's 20?
We'll go 25, please.
Okay. And then it'll be to wait for the other train to come through.
So watch your speed.
So the speed limits that the system enforces, if you go over even by 1 kilometer per hour, it will kick in?
Very sensitive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here I want to keep it below 25.
Yes, please.
Okay.
And you can see your next signal now is showing which aspect. Red over red. So likely, the signaling system wants us to wait so that another train can, and
Yep,
there it is.
there it is.
Perfect. And if we time it right, you can keep the momentum going. And if you ride the O train, you'll see that this is how it happens. We'll pass this inducee here, which is your control for the next red signal. Good. And as we move, you should see that signal change from red to a slow permissive.
And that'll be keyed based on the other train hitting.
Got it.
Okay.
See, we've come under the effect of that 500. So 25 or below. 25 or below. So if we were to, now we're under the effect, if we pass the next one, there's your emergency brake, right? That's how the system works.
Okay.
Any minute now, you should see that signal change. There you go.
Okay. So now we can. But even though it's saying the 500 here, when we hit the next one, we can be over 25, or we still have to keep it under?
Keep it under 25 as we traverse. Once we have to clear this this area first. Yeah, very good.
And wait for the light to go up.
Correct.
Okay.
When you no longer see it, then you're back to track speed.
So that sound means that one of the, it picked up a new.
Yep. Well, that was the sound for clearing, basically. Okay. When it's getting a little foggy. Good. And now we're smooth sailing on into Greenboro Station.
Speed limit here again would be about 55.
Correct.
So for someone riding the train, you wouldn't find it going more than 55 or 60 in general.
There are areas of track where you can get up faster. For us, given the conditions here, we'll keep the speeds a little bit very good.
So that would be the line that would go towards
Greenboro.
Walk the
Sorry,
Yard.
Walk the Yard, yeah, exactly. From the heading from north to south, and they have the opposite one.
And this is the Via Rail intersection
You got it.
for the diamond.
That's right. Okay, we're coming into Greenboro. We'll slow her down, please. Nice and easy, nice and easy. Very good. On that way is phase 2. Into the great wide open. Right on. Very nice, Shane. Nice and smooth. Oh yeah. Perfect. Coast, 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 coast. Here it comes.
I have yet to get one.
It's okay. Very close. Just bring it back to neutral. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. Excellent.
So then that would be it. So now they would get on, and we would switch directions.
This is where
What
you-
would happen at this point from this end to hand control over to the other side?
Yeah, you don't have to actually shut the train down. We want to keep the train running, but you'd be putting the direction to forward here. And there's a key system, so to take the key...
Or to reverse, you mean?
Sorry, 0 here in this direction. And once you get to the other end, then that direction goes to forward, and you're forward from the opposite end of the train.
Okay.
The operators turn the key and take the key with them, lock the door, and head on down to
So it's the
other
key
end.
that enables the controls on the other side.
Correct.
In that
Yep.
sense, okay.
Yep, just exactly. Yep, that's it, exactly.
So it's not possible for an operator to be at both ends and sort of have competing effect, or?
I think there's an interlock system that prevents you from, you couldn't operate or key in both cabs at one time, similar to Confederation Line.
Okay.
And yeah, often it is, the shift relief happens sort of at Greenboro Station. And they, yeah, do that. Great. Bravo, Shane.
All right.
Yeah, so
and
we're-
then as far as shutting down at the end of the day, let's say this we were finished for service.
Yes. Well, if you're taking the train into the yard, then the trains are left with the attendants there who actually power down the trains and park them and things like that. So the operator would, again, take the key, alight the train, and then it'd be handed off to somebody, an attendant there. So if you like, you can actually key it out to a 0 position here. That shuts down the desk. That allows the operator to walk from one end to the other.
Okay.
Bravo. Very
Great.
nice work.
Thank you.
You're hired.